Hello, Cosplay World. Can you guess what this Tip Tuesday is going to be about? Well, if you haven't read the description of the video, it's going to be about acrylics. Haha! It was right there the whole time. The camera probably just couldn't pick it up because it's transparent, yes. So, we're going to be coloring and or tinting acrylics. We're going to go over how it's done and a few tricks to have it go as well as possible. Now, of course, acrylics are available in transparent sheets. However, they're quite expensive and their colors are somewhat limited. I'm not going to say completely limited. It might be very nice for what you're doing. Some alternatives are lightweight cellophane, plastics, things like that, which will get the job done, say for covering up eye sockets and stuff. Usually just getting some kind of transparent material will get the job done. It doesn't necessarily need to be a rigid material as acrylic is. And there are other acrylics, bear in mind, they don't necessarily are transparent, but for our purposes of cosplay use, the transparent ones are the ones of interest. Otherwise, there's lots more cost-effective choices out there. So, we want to create some really awesome custom design. How are we going to do that? Well, here we have a few examples. I got my glass armor here of semi-transparent work. And I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but you can at least see the shadow of my hand, and I guess the crest is done up so you can see my hand in there as well. This is done with mixing varnish and regular acrylic paint, and also same acrylic paint and the DAP Crystal Clear here. I'm not going to go into demonstrating the DAP Crystal Clear on camera for you in this video. If you would like, go to the Tip Tuesday specifically about caulk, in which I cover that. I cover it specifically on the transparent Crystal Clear too, because a lot of my uses are with the clear caulk rather than the white opaque caulk. So there you guys go. I'm going to put these over here as to not be in the way of the video. Okay, so here we have our piece of acrylic. Now, when working with the caulk, usually it's just fine to mix up your color beforehand and then just apply it to the surface. Caulk is made to seal windows, so you might imagine it sits on it pretty good. It will peel up if you dig at it, but assuming you have a clean, uniform surface, it'll do just fine. So right now we're going to do a demonstration of the acrylic and a few other things. Let's start with the prep work. So here we have some gloss varnish, and we are going to also take some sandpaper. You want to go with some pretty fine sandpaper. I'm going to go with about 500 here. We're just going to scratch up the surface. We're going to do it in a uniform direction. This might be important to your work to do it along the line that light's going to hit it the least. Or if say it's a visor, I would do it around the facing area. Do it in one direction. Doing it in all kinds of different directions isn't necessarily as beneficial as you think it is for this particular purpose. But yeah, we're just going to scratch it up just a tiny bit and try and make it as uniform as possible so that the acrylic has a bit of surface to bite into. And let's see if I can grab a bit of pink. So here we go, just some Delta pink. I'm going to get just a drop of this for our purposes of demonstration. And there we go, just a little bit. And we have some nice gloss varnish. I chose gloss just to have it shiny. If you want a matte texture or a satin texture, that is just fine. Yes. I'm going to just grab enough. Here, is this metallic? This is also metallic. Actually, metallic is probably not the best choice for demonstration, but it'll be fine. Okay, so we may not necessarily. Let me get a bigger brush for this. It's probably best to do more uniform strokes with a large brush, is why I'm taking the time on camera to grab a different brush. If you use tiny strokes, it's going to be more apparent in the brushwork. If you have a sponge brush, that's probably the best way to go. Unfortunately, no, I don't have a sponge brush in the area. And I would start over with this, but I don't particularly want to break off more acrylic and do that. Oh, so there we go. Okay, so I'm being careful here not to put on too much. Not to put on too much acrylic paint, just to make sure that it does come out of transparent. But as you can see, the where we scratched up, the varnish got into that, and it's kind of filling the cracks there, and it's totally not visible. But doing this little bit of surface sanding gives it something to bond to, and therefore you will have a better holding paint job, as it is pretty obvious. So there you go. And the trick here is just uniform, even brush strokes, and that's all there really is to it. Sealing it and putting too heavy of a coat is detrimental, because that just means there's more things to kind of grab onto it and scratch it and cause it damage. Also, as a side note, if you're interested in spray painting, going with the transparent kind of enamel spray paints are very, very nice. These are the ones. This is what I typically use with the with, say, my crystal sword, or my what else did I do with this? I did Data Drain from .hack, and it does a very good job. And it's a bit more resistant to scratching off, but you don't have quite as much control. If you have some kind of pattern design to work into the acrylic, the acrylic paint is the way to go. But if you need a clean, uniform color, or maybe if you have a gradiated color, the enamel paint is the way to go. And you can always hit it with a clear coat to seal it as well, just to give it that same texture that you like. Whoa! So I want to encourage you guys, if you don't, if you're scared of working with acrylics, I'm going to put some more on here, because man, at this point in the video, there's no need to be with it safe with it. You guys need to be able to see it at least. Of course, the reason why I'm being safe with it is that the whole point of using acrylic is for it to be transparent. If I put too much, it'll become opaque and lose the whole point of doing it. You may as well just use any kind of real base material for it, and there you go. Of course, with layered effects, you can go and do the other side. Some of these cracked effects are done with multiple layers of acrylic, allowing for depth in the paint job, which is very interesting. But I don't know. The last thing I want to cover before I go is there are, of course, various automotive skins for helmets, for lamps, for lighting. So check that out online. This is a very this is going to be for a mask or a visor, and it's a very nice peel away. You peel off the facings, and it sticks right to the acrylic. Actually, do I want to cut this away, get this a little bit smaller? Yeah, because I don't need to necessarily use all of it for this demonstration. Rawr! But especially when you're working with custom helmets and you want your own custom tints, they have all those available, and it's pretty simple to buy and adhere them to the surface. It's not really it's not really a problem. They also have custom patterns and other fun things. If I can just get my thumb underneath of the plastic thing of stickers. Wait, is this it? Wait. Come on, work with me here. I'm trying to be on camera. You're the last demonstration. Why do you have to be difficult? There we go. Okay, yeah, it's totally. Yeah, it's got a sticky side, and I'm going to match our metallic pink. Here's a more, I guess, uniform metallic pink, and of course you want to work from the center outwards to make sure that no bubbles come into play here. If you do get bubbles, you can slowly work them outwards, and I have one bubble right there. Okay, let's see, let's peel this up a little bit, and then slowly work it down towards the edge. And there we are, cosplayers. Some simple examples of how to custom tint or color or design your cosplays. It really isn't all that complicated, but if you want a demonstration, here it is. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Good times to all. Rah! Hey, looks like you made it all the way to the end. If you're interested in more new tutorials, con coverage, and other cosplay shenanigans every week, hit that sub button to get it delivered hot and fresh to you.